rectum?
Sure.
Are we on the internet?
Look, the little frumpkins, this little buddy frumpkins.
Look at all the frumpkins. Those are from @the Queer Agender sent those in, and there are so many, and they're all so soft and wonderful and handmade.
Amazing. They are
family
oh my
of
God.
frumpkins.
I'm gonna squeeze all the frumpkins.
Tonight, the Mighty Nine explore underground, meet a kobold, and tangle with some fire giants. We're gonna break it all down with Taliesin Jaffe, Matt Mercer. Wow.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, we're here.
Hello.
I can confirm they are here. All that and more tonight on Talks Machina. We're back. I have to begin by shaming you guys a little bit.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, go for it.
So, a wonderful critter, I don't have their name with me because this was very last moment. A Scottish critter sent in a bottle of 21-year-old Balvenie
Oh no,
Scotch.
really?
And if you guys have never had a 21-year-old Balvenie Scotch, it is, I don't know if it gets any better. You know what I mean? Steve Bloom would call this perfection.
Right.
Perfection.
I already want to defend myself, but
You're not going to say shit.
God damn it.
This is how a 21-year-old Scotch is supposed to be drank, okay? According to 10 out of 10 experts. These gentlemen here,
It's not my fault.
it's not my fault. Okay,
damn it.
you're gonna get your time. Put it in their apparati, and then put Coke in there and ice. You do not drink some shitty $10 stuff if you're gonna mix it. I'm getting emotional.
So smooth.
It's not smooth.
It's really
So
tasty.
Now you've added a carbonated element with full of sugar.
And it's elevated the drink that much
You can't
more.
even taste the drink.
Delicious.
The scotch is coming up in little bubbles into my
It's-
nose.
I mean, the flavor's still there. It just now has an effervescence to it.
No, it
has
doesn't.
a-
It's
it
not
has-
a nose. It's no scotch.
You are
it's
smelling
exalted
diabetes.
Scotch.
You are smelling sugar. And that's not even real sugar.
this is
It's
what
the
I-
stuff that they. It's. What's it called, Max?
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
Who's better than us?
Fuck.
I don't know.
No,
Nothing.
nothing.
It tastes like a full-on exalted Doncast combo.
High
is what it
class.
is. It's
I'm
delicious.
drinking some delicious spurt tonight instead. This wonderful can of spurt. It's not real.
Now that I know that it's
You
that
broke
good.
the illusion.
Oh yeah.
I did?
No,
Yeah.
We made do with what we could.
Yeah.
This was not the plan. It just kind of worked out this way.
Now that we're aware of how amazing and special this liquor is,
Yeah. What does it taste like
we
normally?
may add ginger ale after.
Wouldn't you like to know?
I would. I'm very curious.
You could have had a full glass of it had it not been tainted by
Been given the opportunity to educate people, and yet here we are.
the critter who sent it in. Sent a note that said, "This is from Scotland. All we ask is that Sam never attempts a Scottish accent on the air ever again."
Oh man.
Fair enough. Far more offensive than
Yeah.
how we
Yes.
drink in it. Thank you. I promise that we'll enjoy this in its
Properly.
proper way now that we're aware.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah.
Quick announcements. A little bit of a rush. Check out Mame Drop, which airs before Talks Machina on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Pacific on Critical Role's Twitch channel. Taliesin Jaffe each week explores some of the best and the worst old school games on that show. Today, Travis was there. I jumped in for a second. Anybody else hop in? Ben hopped in. Our
Vander flew
I
in.
don't know what he
Brittany
does
Wallach
here.
popped in for a moment. Lovely wife
Brittany.
Brittany. Not my lovely wife, but a lovely wife.
Kind of
Brittany.
all of our lovely wives,
Yeah,
Brittany
that's
is,
fair.
isn't she?
Makes
She's a wife.
total
She's a
sense.
mother.
She's not a mother.
She's a whip cracker.
She's a saint.
She's a firecracker.
Killer. She's a. I'm trying to remember the
She
song.
covers all the bases.
Sure.
She's cat mom?
She is a cat mom.
Cat
She is a
mother?
cat mom.
That's
Yeah.
true.
In that way, she's a mom.
Married to the lovely Matthew Key, the only person I know who looks down when they talk to Travis Willingham.
That's a valid point.
Join us next week for our next episode of Between the Sheets featuring Wilfredell.
Yeah.
TVs, Wilfredell. Animations, Wilfredell. That's 7 p.m. Pacific next Monday, twitch.tv As a Critical Role. Last night, Quyen Tran.
Yes.
Fantastic episode.
Such a great episode. She's the best.
Just briefly, to all the people out there who are like, only tabletop people should be on the show. First of all, be quiet. Second of all, we're going to show you some pretty amazing people that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. And last night was a fantastic example of that. Quyen doesn't do interviews very often. I was so happy. She was like excited to come on and wanted to talk.
Yeah.
And just blew people away. So to all those people,
This is our show and tell.
exactly.
Yeah. And
We
there
were
will be
clear
people,
about it from the start.
There will be people tabletop related here and there. You know,
Yeah.
it's all forms of storytelling, and that is very much a core of what we do and what we're passionate about. But we want to also make sure that we expand beyond just that core and show different perspectives, different people, different, walks of life and different forms of storytelling. So
Yeah. It's pretty awesome. I'm really excited about this season. Thank you all for watching. Monday night, Will Friedle, great episode, hilarious. He takes digs at all of us. He was on fire. He just roasted all of us the whole interview. I'm like, dude.
sounds about right. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
I know where he parks his car. It's cool.
I know where he parks his car too. Yeah. I also have a gas can with me. I also have, never mind. One important final announcement. In case you missed it, we're taking a week off from Critical Role this Thursday, February 7th. And Talks Machina will also be dark next week on the 12th. We'll be back on Thursday, February 14th, aka Valentine's Day, with a brand new episode at 7 p.m. Pacific. And Talks Machina will return that following Tuesday, the 19th, at 7 p.m. Pacific. So nice of all of you to take a night off to come to my parole hearing as character witnesses.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited to see who will actually be showing up and who I'm going to run into perhaps at Arby's afterwards.
There's no guarantees.
The prosecution calls. You have to show up.
Yeah,
They
legally
do.
we have to show up.
Oh, you
Like,
do?
Yeah.
Oh, they
We
actually
don't
like send
have an
subpoenas?
option.
Subpoena is.
Yeah.
Did you get one too?
Yeah.
Steve?
Do I have to say?
No. Without further
It's
ado,
better if you don't.
let us discuss episode 50 of Critical Role Campaign 2.
God, we're at 50.
I know. The Endless Burrows. I'm over it. We have some stats from our friends at Crit Roll Stats about episode 50. On this 50th episode, Ford got the 50th How Do You Want to Do This?
Oh, no way.
Hiccups. Goddamn.
Killing the Roper. How cool is that? 50 episodes, 50 How to Dirty Dirties.
I can't believe we didn't write it that way. That's crazy. We should have like made sure that was a thing.
I know.
I brought it up in one of the writing meetings, but ever since I
writing
started
jokes.
going to them, no one else shows up. The Roper's critical hit on Caleb would have one-shotted him had Caduceus not reduced it with Sentinel at death's door.
Yeah.
No, man.
Yeah,
crazy.
that actually would have.
Would it have just knocked him unconscious, or would
Yeah.
it have killed?
No, not him unconscious. Well,
How much?
I don't remember.
no.
the-
Well, I have to go look at what the damage would be, because if you take. I have to look at the rules again, but I believe if you take enough damage in one attack to equal your
Yeah, he
maximum
would have
hit
to have
points.
taken the full amount. He would have had to take enough damage to knock him unconscious, and then on top of that, his entire HP. I think.
Yeah.
I did a handbook or helper about death saving throws.
I believe that that's
Great
the rule.
plug.
So I don't think I would have killed
Fucking
him.
flawless.
I would have had
I think I would've killed him
burn-
outright.
I would have had to
Master.
burn a very expensive spell to keep him alive at that point. It would have been a lot.
Yeah.
Is Caleb worth it to Caduceus to burn that super? Uh-oh. Liam's still driving
question.
home.
Okay,
He's
next
not
question.
watching. He just left. He's still driving home.
Oh no! Yeah.
Spurt.
Bert.
Spurt is the
You
first
fucker.
on-screen guest player character death in the history of the show.
Yeah.
How did you keep that from us, by the way? That was so impressive.
That's a question.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that question.
Okay, never mind.
There you go.
I'm jumping the gun here.
Yeah, patience.
And he wants to get right into it. I would say it's the liquor, but it's too diluted. Christopher Perkins, our beloved, was at the table for 22 minutes and 25 seconds.
I'm so
It's an
happy.
episode of network television right there.
And
tight 22,
funnier, a tighter 22 than any comedy show I've seen.
It's a solid episode of Herman's Head right there.
Oh, dropped a Herman Head reference.
There you go.
I went to Mary's on Friday night for our D&D game. I walk in the door and Mary says, "Did you see Danny's tweet about Chris Perkins being the best guest of all time on Critical Role?"
That, by the way.
She was not having it. She's like, "Danny and I like this." And now next time I see her, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm like, shit, dude. But honestly though,
I love you.
But honestly though, the best guest.
Burn so bright.
First question for you, Matt.
Yes.
It's from our pal Kyle with an N.
Kyle with an N.
How would you say that?
Kyle?
Kyle?
Oh, that's really, really close. It's Nile.
Oh, there we go.
Can you walk us through the process of how Chris Perkins got the shortest lived guest spot in Critical Role history?
The process was pretty simple. I wasn't aware that Chris was going to be in town until the very last minute, and he asked if he can come watch the show since he's in for that Thursday night, and was like, "Oh yeah, totally, come on by and hang out with us, and always welcome." And I prepared this kobold encounter and this particular kobold to be just an NPC character that I was going to play as part of the encounter and see how long they traveled with him, if they would have, made it a very positive encounter or a very negative one. I was curious to see how the Mighty Nine would react to this entity. And after I was driving to the studio to get ready for the show that night, and as I'm in my car, I'm thinking, no, you guys were even texting me going like, wait, is Perkins guesting tonight? I'm like, no, he's not guesting. He's just coming to watch the show.
Because everybody showed up and he's in the lobby,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, "What?"
Yeah, but on the way there, I was like, you know what? I think this would be a lot of fun, and I'll if he's interested, I'll throw him in there and let him play the character and do whatever he wants with it. So when I got here and we got talking for a bit, I pulled him off to the side room and was like, "Hey, so if you're interested and you want to pop in for a bit, be probably a little later in the session, but this is a kobold inventor from the stat block is actually from the book. I was like, would you be interested in playing this character?" He's like, "Okay, well, we started talking about what the kobolds sound like in my world, and
Which is fucking amazing, by the way.
Oh, so much fun.
That was hilarious.
But yeah, and very, very little guidance, and he came up with the name Spurt, and after that I was like, all right, cool, you'll know when to jump in.
Yeah.
And so I sat on the side, and it was everything I hoped it would be. I wasn't sure if Spurt was going to continue on with them, and if he did, I would take over when Chris had to leave and for future episodes and such, and he would have established the character. But instead, he played Spurt true to live as he was meant to live, very briefly.
Yes.
And
Candle in the wind.
it was majestic.
Yeah.
How long have you been down here? 11 days. How long is the lifespan of a kobold? 11 days!
He was so funny. God, I love that guy. He's a treasure.
I asked him after the episode that night, I said, "Do you want to come on Talks this week?" And he patted me on the back and he said, "That's great." Taliesin, porno lesbian, wants to know. Caduceus has a strong connection with nature, especially organic material. Is being underground for so long putting him on edge, or does he perceive it as just another part of the Wild Mother's glory?
He is getting used to it. He is definitely out of his element, but he's in his element, but out of his element. So he's definitely. I imagine there's a lot of closing your eyes and deep breathing. So he's looking for things to be excited about. Not a lot of things to be excited about down here. It's kind of awful. And he also is noticing that in this place that he is very useful. So is definitely feeling. I tried to push him a little bit more of a tactical head on him and just let him be kind of a center of like, okay, I'm going to be taking care of things. This is what I'm supposed to do. This is back at home fighting off whatever the hell got into the garden. So So yeah, he's on edge, but it's a healthy edge. He's not against it.
Yeah.
And it's better than being on the ocean at the moment.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Lava though, lava. Ugh.
Ooh.
The fuck, man.
I'm so glad. I love all the lava shit.
Oh, it's fun.
I mean, I'm obviously not happy about. Matt.
Yeah.
My Tia man, we got there. Why do you keep referring to it as Underground instead of Underdark? Is this a personal choice, or are your players not truly in the Underdark yet?
They're not truly in the Underdark yet. They're not deep enough to really break into the real terrible, horrible Underdark of Wildmount. They're skimming bits of it, and those are like the moment they had with the Ropers was kind of like a little taste. The Fire Giants is another aspect of it they've broken into, but this was, partially because of just the nature of it being a fast-track burrowing tunnel that was created by the Kryn to get there. They weren't going to do the full path through, because that's treacherous for them too on a military journey if they have a means of doing so. So it made more logistic sense to be like on the cusp between the two. So it kind of dips between the two of them. They haven't even really scratched the surface of the true terrors of the Underdark.
Just the monorail. We're just riding the monorail around Disneyland. We're not actually on any of the rides.
Yeah, and you guys did pretty heavy Underdark in the last campaign.
Yeah.
I didn't want to tread immediately into the same territory. It all just made sense to go this route.
Yeah.
Who knows in the future if it'll take you there? There are still a lot of things to discover in the Underdark that down the road maybe. If that's where the path takes you, but this particular one does not go that deep.
I am very excited with where we're going. I have hopes and dreams. I don't know if they're actually going to get fulfilled, but I'm very excited.
Good. I love when you have hopes and dreams. It allows me to crush them so easy.
They taste so good once you press them down.
Evil. Evil. Taliesin.
Yeah.
Forget your best friend just said that with an answer to this question from Nate Moorman. Not Mormon. Mormon.
More.
Maybe Mormon. As a very open character, how does Caduceus feel about all these people who are so closed off and deceitful being his companions? Is he enjoying seeing them finally begin to let some of those skeletons out of their closets?
They're not closed off and deceitful. I mean, they are.
How does he view them?
They are, but he sees them as just people who have not had the appropriate life experience to. They're not people from a place where that option is available. He's just making that option available for a bunch of people who really need it. And yeah, that's the thing is as much as he's like a hermit character, it's not like he didn't have interactions with people all the time, because people would come to the temple and he would have conversations with people all the time, and part of the training of being at that temple was learning to talk to people and make them feel better about things and like help people open up. So this is just such an extension of what he was doing beforehand on that level.
The solitary therapist.
Yeah. Yeah, just tell me about the outside world. What part of it that I do not understand hurt you?
I dig it.
Yeah, no, so this is nothing new to him. He really likes them. He really, really likes them.
Where'd you get that mug?
On the internet.
It's beautiful.
It came from the Etsy.
Wow.
It's got a rock on it in a wonderfully both convenient and awkward way.
Yeah, well.
It's my whole gig, convenient and awkward.
I dig it.
What else was good, spurt-wise?
Oh, man.
How many points of damage did he take at the end?
20-something.
21 or 28.
Yeah.
How many did he have?
He had like 12 hit points.
Yeah, because my favorite was like, all right, you take 21 points of damage, and he goes, I win!
He just threw the bees at the giant. Said, you die! You die! It was so good. Chris made me so happy.
I was like, how is he going to do that voice for the rest of the night? Turns out.
Apparently,
do it for 22 minutes.
Well, that was part of my whole creation of the NPC that became Spurt. And the challenge with the Fire Giants was it wasn't meant to be a battle encounter. It was meant to be a try and escape, get by.
Yeah.
But now they have this loud, extremely squishy kobold that hopefully they've had some level of like mild bonding with, just kind of how I wanted to engineer it, and see if they were able to get him across and make that kind of an additional part of the challenge of do we leave him behind? Now we have to get him across if we want him to continue to escort us or lead us through this tunnel. And no, just right out of the gate.
He just was not, he was like, nope, I'm going to burn hard, fast.
Was a magical falsetto on that character,
beautiful.
too. It was
That
beautiful.
was.
So good.
That was fucking genius, dude.
Bag of worms, man.
This one's for both of you. Watch me nail this.
Oh, do it.
Elizabeth Quintanilla.
Sure.
Okay.
That seems
Elizabeth, tweet me. I think
it's-
you'll find I'm right.
And if not, I apologize for him.
I can only apologize for him so much.
Really sorry.
How does it feel watching all the sadness pour out of Caleb and Nott's backstories? Taliesin, how does Caduceus feel about it?
Oh man,
This is for both of you, but you can.
that's rough, buddy. That's rough. That's, you know, it's when you start from your lowest that you really gotta eventually climb to your highest heights. I mean, there's nowhere to go but up, really, at that point. I don't think Clay fully comprehends how bad this all is. I don't know if he really. I think it's just like, oh, that looks really sad. I don't know if he can comprehend art film horror.
Yeah, right.
You know, just pure existential horror, I think, might be slightly beyond him.
He's like, they're going through a rough time.
That's rough, man.
Yeah.
It's like and the cat could die. I'd be like, oh, that's rough, man.
God, I love Caduceus so
I know.
Life, death. What are you gonna do?
The Fred Tatasciore of the party.
Oh, no, you're so right. It is Fred Tatasciore. Holy
changed
shit.
everything. One word.
Oh, boy.
6 words.
Yeah.
And is there a better compliment?
No, that is.
I mean it as a compliment.
Thank you. No, I love Fred. That
God
is
damn
very
it.
Fred
I love
Tatasciore.
that I live in a world where I get to run into him sometimes
I
because
know.
it is a day changer.
Yeah.
It is like,
For those who don't know, Fred Tatasciore is an extremely talented voice actor for many years. He's like the voice of the Hulk for all of Marvel's animated
Yes.
stuff. He's also the voice of Soldier 76 in Overwatch. He's in a billion things.
everything.
And he's just a very
Just.
big, tall, laid-back Caduceus.
He's totally a
Like-
big, tall, laid-back
No,
Caduceus.
he's just nice about everything.
yeah.
He's happy to see you. And he's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
this-
yeah.
God, it's great that you're.
This big kind of tall hobbit
I heard
kind of
you've been
dude.
doing all that Dungeons and Dragons, and that's
That's
great.
That's just great.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So great.
Somebody that when you see him, you're just immediately like, I need a hug from him.
Yeah.
Oh, straight up.
Oh, he'll
That's
lift
Fred
you
Tatasciore.
off the ground.
Oh no, he's like Yogi Bear. He's
yeah.
just this big.
He's the size of Trinket.
yeah.
Yeah.
Still my
He's the
favorite
size of the
NPC interaction that's ever happened on the show. I'm sorry, Mary.
Yep.
Oh man.
is the blacksmith who just wanted a hug. It was the best.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it made sense for
Now
the
in my head,
character, yeah.
It's Fred now, just because like every time I see Fred, I'm just like, oh,
buddy.
it's Fred, man.
Thank you for subconsciously being my character.
Yeah, that's great.
So to answer that question on mine, I guess.
Yeah, your end.
Fred Tatasciore.
Yeah, Fred Tatasciore is the answer. No, and everyone gave me their character backstories. You know, they'd written kind of their character's history before the game. There were a handful of the characters. I was like, wow, this is going to be some pretty dark stuff when we get around to it. And it was just amazing to watch those two kind of collide as they began to weave the story and the paths they were going in the direction of the conflict. And it was an opportunity for me to go ahead and, because you don't want to end up having like a whole story where every single person's background comes into it in a way that's just like a stage around them for a section and a stage around them.
Yeah.
Then it becomes very kind of paint by numbers.
cart
and it's
crash.
interesting.
You got
But
a cart crash.
is
That
so
was
much more
amazing.
delicious.
That was amazing. It was fun. Like I couldn't believe that hadn't been like that. It was like that watching the two of them do that weird moment of I'm Brian. No, I'm Brian. I'm Brian, and so's my wife. And I'm like, whoa! And they were both freaking out at each other. It was
amazing.
great.
It made me so happy.
Amazing.
So to answer the question, I was excited.
Yeah.
There.
Why do you think people's backstories always end up being, not always, but for the most, like in our home game when they turned in all the backstories, I'm like, Jesus Christ. Because a lot of people who don't have, like people who's like, my friend's parents aren't dead, they weren't like, royalty and whatever else, they have a great life, but then coming into the game, it's like, I'm in a dump. Is it because it's a totally different?
Happy people are. It's harder to make an interesting happy person.
It's true.
That's true. I mean, it's not impossible. And
I'm two in now.
I've played in game. You have.
Yeah.
I've played in games and had characters that, their life of adventure was purely based on wanderlust and curiosity and wanting to make a name for themselves in a world where they felt maybe, insecure about their place and that they had something to say and show. But more often than not, the life of an adventurer is a very dangerous one.
So something had to have propelled them into.
In a lot of cases, it feels natural to find something in their history to give them enough reason to leave behind the safety of day-to-day life to go delve into deep, underground, dangerous dungeon catacombs and fight terrible monstrosities and abominations for the hope of a little bit of gold. You know, so it's common for people to gravitate towards elements of that. Plus, it makes for interesting, kind of cathartic role-playing experiences for people if maybe they're going through tough times or they want to find a point in the story where they can work through something that they themselves are kind of having a hard time with. It's not uncommon for people to create some sort of hidden duality between something their character is struggling with and something that they themselves may be privately struggling with.
Yeah.
And this story in this game becomes a way for them to kind of deal with it in a healthier way or have a better perspective on it, on how to make steps towards improving it. Or even just to work through the emotions of it, have a good, cry, break down, and feel better about it. So yeah,
Right.
There's many reasons, but there's a lot of really tragic D&D characters out there.
Yep. I don't know, Taliesin. I feel like he danced around answering my question.
Yeah, that was a long walk to nowhere. I don't know.
You can hit him.
If only you were loosened up by some nice, neat scotch.
Sometimes
Try this.
Sometimes you're just a dude who has a happy family, who has gone into a dungeon because he has a hard time forming meaningful relationships with people.
I know.
So you got to do what you can.
Sometimes there's a man.
Oh, no.
Pass it
go
over
on.
to
Yeah, pass that over.
Fred Tatasciore
That's really
Jr.
good. The only thing it's missing is a little Coke.
Max, can we end?
Chaser.
A Mountain Dew, yeah, some Cactus Cooler in
can
there,
end
be
there?
amazing.
Cactus cool. Jesus Christ. Taliesin,
summer camp drunk, man. All right.
Matt, I'm going to make you stop talking by answering this question. Evan Litvik, what was it like playing the kobolds during the episode compared to reading lines for kobolds and catacombs?
I mean, it's hard not to pull inspiration from that. I mean,
course.
kobolds are kobolds. They're these tiny little barking, dragonoid creatures, and
No, you could have had it this way. Matt's answering your question. Go ahead.
and so yeah, they're yippy and in my interpretation of it, based on just size and demeanor, because they're menacing and they can be terrifying, but also weirdly adorable, depending on how you want to play it and where what the history of that kobold clan may be. So yeah, I mean, like, you get to a certain point where we're like, for kobolds and catacombs, I done a number of different kobold voices in a similar range, and I mean, I have limitations, so it's like, all right, I'll hit a point here where, you know what, this is a comfortable pocket. It conveys what I need to for the characters. And those who have played Kobolds and Catacombs, it's a nice little Easter egg for you.
Yep.
I was going to say, anything you can hold for 2 hours is kind of can I hold this voice for 2 hours and not die?
Yeah, exactly. That's how I was wondering about Knott's voice the first episode of the campaign.
As soon as he opened up with that, we were like, Sam, what are you doing, buddy? Right. And you can watch it kind of adjust over the first few episodes to a more comfortable place, and it was like, okay.
What was he actually said it too? He says,
He called himself out on it as soon as he started talking.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess this is what I'm doing now?
He was like, oh yeah, 2 years, baby.
Hurt yourself.
What an asshole.
Was it one of the Force Grays or something where Hardwick did a voice and then immediately was like, oh, fuck, I shouldn't have done that voice?
I think so, yeah.
I did that in our first home game. The first night, I'm like, it was a British accent. You guys know how.
Your British
it's
accent
fantastic. Show
is
me an
amazing.
example.
It's flawless.
No. Only Laura Bailey. Only Heart Music Laura Bailey can get me to do my British accent.
Okay, next talk she's on.
Yeah, no. Taliesin, Paper Volcano wants to know. Those don't last long.
They don't. Burn bright.
When Caduceus started traveling with the Mighty Nine, you described him as unhealthily skinny. After spending months traveling with the Nine, how's he doing?
Oh, he's a vegan on the road. He's not looking better. If you've ever taken a
that was at Sundance.
Oh, I know. It's if you've ever taken a road trip with a vegan, then you know that they're like, the minute that you get to the places where they're like, we don't have vegetables here, and you're like, what are you gonna eat, man? And they're like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get the lettuce that comes with the burger. And you're like, oh boy.
Yep.
We should have packed better.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Find a field to graze in.
He's still a little lanky. It's not a lot of muscle on that boy.
I mean, if you guys ended up, say, in the Underdark for 3 weeks, what would he do?
I don't think he necessarily needs sunlight. He's not really he's pretty pale and.
But I meant for food.
he can make his own. I make my own.
Oh, that's right.
I'm magic, motherfucker.
That's right.
It's basically tofu. I can actually make it's basically tofu.
45 pounds of tofu.
45 pounds of semi-firm tofu.
That's going to be the we're practically gods of this campaign, is Caduceus telling people it's basically
It's
tofu.
basically tofu. I love it. I love because they actually describe it in the manual as like kind of very bland and like tasteless, like it's almost garnished. It's just broken. Like it's the semi-firm that comes in the little liquid pack. It's like you need to do something to it.
It's the tiny edible gelatinous cube.
Yep, it's
I've got one of
wow.
those.
Gelatinous meal.
It's gelatinous cube in a pack. Yeah.
I love it.
Matt.
Yes.
Townsend SW wants to know. So far, we've seen a mid-level party descend into the Underdark in search of a halfling, briefly befriend a doomed native, and almost lose a rogue's foot to lava. Any more callbacks in the works?
Completely unintentional. I didn't even think about it until people started calling it out on the internet. I was like, what is going on?
Gotta steal somebody's shoes now. Yeah.
I didn't know they were going to go in the tunnels. I wish I could show you my notes for the session after the reveal. I had so many things planned for if they go to Zadash, if they go to this place, if they go to this place to figure out allies and get information and figure out what to do. And they just went right down the tunnels. And I hadn't have anything planned for the tunnels originally.
Wow.
They could inspect a few things, but when you play the game and the players want to go a direction and it makes sense, you allow them to go that way.
Yeah.
Make it challenging. But they found a way to
So
honey
much
badger
can go
their way
horribly
through a
wrong.
wall. I know. And so it took it in a different direction. And I wasn't planning for it to go the way as it occasionally happens. And a lot of this was just kind of, when you're preparing a game, find out what makes sense for the next endeavor, the next encounter, the next challenge, the next pathway. And I was skirting above the Underdark because I didn't want to tread into familiar territory. And then all these subtle parallels began to pop out, and I was like, oh my God, I can't escape it.
Nope.
So, oh well.
Which is crazy
not
because the
all
writers didn't even see the first campaign.
Jesus.
No, never.
The writing jokes never end.
Hey, Taliesin. Fraulein Chimera wants to know. Have you and Battle Mercy, Laura, agreed that Caduceus is the healer of the two clerics, or is that something that just comes more naturally to Caduceus than to Chester?
Clerics are like bards in the sense that you can get a lot of there's a lot of variance in those magic sets, and he's by the Grave Cleric build is just far more inclined than a Trickster. A Trickster Cleric is supposed to be a little bit more of a toolkit. Yeah. Whereas he's a medikit. There's definitely some stuff that he can do, but he's really, any time that I'm doing damage, I'm probably not doing my job. Any time that I shouldn't really be doing damage. I should be doing everything else otherwise.
That. Yeah, I understand that feeling.
And she should be having effects on the battlefield, but also holding healing in the back pocket too. So I like having two of us. Between the two of us, we can kind of cover that, and I can occasionally do some weird stuff on the battlefield. And I've got that cancel that I can do to a critical hit. And
That was cool.
yeah, I can do that so many times.
Yeah, what is it,
I was
4 or 5
short rest.
per long
No.
rest?
No, yeah, I can do it 5 times
about
per
that.
5 times per long rest,
Wow.
as long as I'm within 30 feet of the victim.
Damn front.
Hey, don't tell him that.
Matt, you've already done horrible things
Yeah,
to Taliesin this
I don't want to
campaign.
end up with the two of you crying on this couch again.
I mean, I'm just gonna say I've learned my lesson, and I have 3 new good ideas ready to go
Oh boy.
for either this campaign or the next. I've got some stuff in there. Just saying. Although Laura will have to learn how to use healing spells again. And that won't be the same.
No, she's gonna love that.
No.
Matt,
Yes?
Boffleslop wants to know.
That's a great name.
It is. You've said character death works best when it's narratively fulfilling. How would you rate spurts?
Oh, top class. I mean,
Yeah.
We should go
that's
home now.
that is the most fulfilling character death I think I could have ever hoped for. It's a complete character arc. Like you got a mini campaign in 22 minutes. It was amazing.
So good.
11 days.
11 days.
11 days of spurt.
11 days of spurt. I wish we could have seen all 11.
You know?
Imagine,
They weren't dissimilar.
imagine the first 2 days.
Yeah, oh, it was a lot of crawling.
A lot of crawling, yeah. Collecting all that shit. He collected all that shit in 11 days.
Yeah. That's
I
driven.
have trouble getting to a gym. That's
Yeah. I wish we had to
Get
pick
that
I
far
know.
below the
That's
ground.
that's a lot of verve.
I think he probably killed some people and took it from him.
You think that people already had a skunk on them and he just killed some people
I
and
think-
found
Oh,
and
I
got
thought you
the
said
skunk?
stuff. I didn't hear you say
No, I
skunk.
said skunk.
Oh,
I
I think he
skunk.
found
Ooh,
a
I don't
skunk
know, man.
defiling an already dead corpse.
Okay.
That's solid.
Thank you.
That's solid.
It's a very
But,
Taliesin
like,
answer.
Are skunks? I don't know enough about skunks to
I know
really
a bit
answer
about
this
skunks. What do
question.
you-
Are they burrowers? Because he is underground. Kobolds don't really go above ground. I also don't really know
the
enough
skunks
about
Kobolds can go above ground and below ground. They can come from many different
I'm
locations.
not saying they
and
can't. I'm just was wondering if
It's possible
I've
he.
never known a skunk to. I'm sure skunks can slightly burrow, but the ones in my neighborhood do not. They to be fair, they walk around like they own the fucking place.
I'm
so.
just curious.
To answer your question, Spurt has a skunk in the same way that all the other kobolds in the 11 days that Spurt's been alive have said to each other quietly when Spurt's not paying attention, "Where the hell did he get a skunk?"
Yeah.
I think it's legitimately a mystery within the community of kobolds, and something that only Arthur C. Clarke would have known.
He found a magic jar that once a day deposits a skunk. It's just like
Yep.
fucking skunk.
It's the alchemy jug, but
Yeah.
it's the jug of skunks.
Skunks.
The skunk jug.
Skunks, squirrels, and otters, and he just like, it's skunk day. Shit.
That's
You
true.
try it after a long rest. You get an otter.
Yeah.
That's a very unhappy otter.
That's
He's
pretty
underground.
Oh my
but-
gosh.
There is kind of an item like that.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
It's dandy.
They're all scratching their heads.
Yeah.
Taliesin Goalstab wants to know, what did Caduceus think about the romance novel as it was being read aloud? Did he enjoy it?
He didn't. Yeah, he did enjoy it. I don't think he entirely understood what the point
I
of it
was
was.
going to say, does he know what they're talking? What they're
I mean,
referencing?
he is aware of it, but it doesn't. It hasn't really like it. No, it has not entirely clicked. No, he's aware that's they're doing the hanky panky stuff. That's great, but like.
That good old hanky.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's not really in his wheelhouse.
When two people really love each other.
Yeah,
They hanky panky all over each other.
that's
what she meant.
And you turn yourself around.
All right. All right.
That's hard.
All right. All right. All right.
That got
all right,
dark.
All right. Let's not go down that road. You put your left foot in. Matt,
That was a good one to end it on, Brian.
the show's not over, Danny. Bad Skeels wants to know.
Bad skills.
They got bad skills.
That sounds like a Rob Liefeld character.
How proud were you to see the Mighty Nine come up with a good plan to avoid the Giants?
that a good
How
plan?
sad were you to derail it in 2 rolls?
Yeah. Yes. Very and very.
Yeah.
It was a great plan. It was you all pulled in your skills for fast movement. I was very proud of you all, and it was honestly, if not hadn't rolled so low, legitimately just on the threshold of the passive perceptions of both giants, I was like, as the master of stealth with advantage from invisibility.
And she had advantage like out the freaking wazoo because she had invisibility, she had that cloak, and she had the blessing.
Yeah.
Not that it matters.
Not that it matters. Yeah, because it's still advantage.
But that just shows as a testament how bad Sam is as a player.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're saying. Is that not what
every
we're saying?
episode, we're just like, Sam's
right there.
Play hard, bud.
Yeah.
Last campaign's final episodes will tell you that.
Real.
Yeah,
dumb.
but once again, those are my favorite D&D moments sometimes too.
Yeah.
You can plan terribly and just wing it, and it's a terrible idea, and sometimes the dice work for you, and it turns out okay, and you're like, that was a magnificent clusterfuck. Oh my God, we'll talk about this for forever. Then you have the moments where you're like, all right, no worries, we got this. You do this, you do this, you do this. All right, great, roll. Well,
Yep.
we're fucked now, and you'll talk about that for forever,
Yeah.
So like it's
It's the same. No plan survives contact with the enemy.
yeah.
it's just-
So it sucked, but it made for a very cinematic and intense encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
What was that quote?
No plan survives contact with the enemy.
Is that what you guys would tell each other back in the Spanish Civil War? I was trying to think of a really old war, Steve. What's another really old war?
Spanish Civil War is. The Carpathians. I mean, come on.
Napoleon? I don't think Napoleon was a war, Steve. I think that was a person. We need to let Steve read more
Napoleonic
books.
Yeah, the Napoleonic Wars were wars.
The Napoleonic Wars, yeah.
There you go.
It's also coming to the Sci-Fi Channel. Taliesin,
Yeah.
Brainblow X wants to know,
Yes!
what feat did Caduceus take? Which were you considering?
I sat through and read through the whole book, and I kind of tried to go through some of the other weird feats just to see what was around, although they've got some really interesting racial-specific feats, but that's nothing really applied. I went with Warcaster.
Nice.
Smart.
Which, yeah, after having, I'll give a shout out to, between Danny Carr and Sam DeLev, who are the two best tactical thinkers I know when it comes to RPGs. I was like, this seems to be in character and useful.
Yeah.
Which was the kind of the meditative, I've got this, I'm not going to be thrown by things, everything's fine. But yeah,
Tell me what it does.
Warcaster, the big thing that it does a few little things, but the big thing is you get advantage on concentration checks.
Yeah, so maybe you have a spell you're concentrating on and you take damage, you can manage to try and maintain
Advantage.
it, which is great.
Yeah, advantage on concentration checks, which is just ridiculous.
It's also cool.
Yeah. Go, the other thing you can do is it changes the way that your reactions work.
Yeah.
You can take a reactionary hit. You can use a spell as long as that spell is a single target spell.
So when you have an opportunity attack against somebody, normally you would have to just hit him with your staff or whatever.
Hit you with my stick.
But with that feat, he can cast a spell as a reaction opportunity attack.
That's how you'll leave when Burt Reynolds tells you to leave was able to happen with the Big B's hand.
That's right. You'll leave when Burt Reynolds.
As long as it has a
tells
single, as long as it has a single focus, then it's fine. Then you can just
single
do it.
target and action casting.
you. Yeah. Wow.
Casting time.
It's pretty cool.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see it in action.
That would yeah. I'm hoping not for a while is what I'm hoping, but yeah.
Yeah, right? You don't want to end up in.
No.
Yeah.
What?
Well,
Nothing.
we're going to give away fan art of the week. Well, no gift of the week this week, but fan art of the week.
Fan art of the week.
Fan art of the week.
Better week! Our dad!
Our dad in his sweater.
He's so handsome.
This week's fan art winner for Campaign 2, Episode 50, was sent in by Sarah Drews at Larimonium. Let's take a look.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh, so close to making that leap.
I want to play that game. That's an 8-bit game I want to play.
I know.
Right?
Straight up. Straight up.
I love the fire giant in the background.
Yeah.
Shovel knot?
Oh, there you go. Yeah. Oh, the dreadnought looks so good.
Oh God.
Looks amazing.
Didn't really get to hit anybody with the shields. I'm sad about that.
That thing scared the bejesus
It
out of me.
should. That's a scary thing.
That thing was like, why are you filling your shield with magma? What? No.
Because you's a dick.
Oh,
Not you, I meant the giant.
Oh,
I
we know
know.
what you meant.
I was with you.
Well, thank you to everyone who submitted. Congrats to you, Sarah. You have won this. Custom. Oh, shit.
Whoa.
Custom Valentine's Day dice vault. Now, you can get one of these customized with 5 different wood and inlay options,
Nice.
and your own message translated in Elvish. They'll arrive before Valentine's Day if you order before February 7th, which is this Thursday, right?
I think so, yeah.
And there's no Critical Role this Thursday. So instead, order your significant other an Elvish delight from our friends at Wormwood Gaming. That's not what they're called. Wormwoodgaming.com. Also, you can enter our weekly contest by emailing your GIF or fan art to submit at toxmachina.com. Rules for our contests are available at critroll.com.
It's true.
Marish, are you drawing over there?
I'm practicing my pub drawing.
You're practicing your drawings? Oh,
It makes me
eyebrows.
so
it's looking
happy.
good.
Like, I'll walk by every now and then, and she'll just be there practicing drawing, and I haven't seen her draw in a long time, so it makes me really
awesome.
excited.
I've never seen you draw up until recently. This
When we first started dating, she showed me some of the sketches she used to do, and so, like, it's been really great to watch her
brand new.
get back into it. It makes me happy.
That's
Perhaps
awesome.
has me inspired.
Yay!
Yay!
Stop, yes.
She is very inspiring.
Well, let's see. Oh, are you out?
No, I've got more.
Why did you make that face?
Oh, because it was so coca-licious.
Coca-licious, dude. I gotta quit.
It's tasty.
What do you guys What? Stop it.
Go on.
We're 50 episodes into this campaign.
Yes.
Is it as far along as you thought it would be? It's obviously off the rails to a certain extent from where you probably thought it would be 50 episodes in.
Oh yeah.
Last
That's
year.
the nature of D&D.
But where, obviously no spoilers, but in the trajectory of the campaign, how do you think it's going 50 episodes in?
I'm excited. We're charging into Jorhaz.
I know. I wish
Kinda
Ash was here.
earlier than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I know we need to get Ashley back soon.
I wanted to run
we get her
screaming
back
for as
soon,
long as
don't we?
possible. I think we get her back
We
soon.
get her back in like a couple months. Right?
I think, hopefully, yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
I'm super excited where it is and where it's going. Like when I planned out the campaign, because you can't plan everything out in advance. You shouldn't. But I have certain beats that are happening in the world and certain events, and some of them you guys were there for. Some of them happened without you, and so I wasn't sure how things were going to lie when we got to our 50th episode. And people are like, 50th episode, something crazy is going to happen. I'm like, no, it doesn't work that way.
Spurt.
Yeah. Well, there you go, and that's one you get.
That was the crazy. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not trying to change the story or tailor the trajectory to be fit like an episode number.
Yeah, this isn't a 1980s sitcom.
No, and I really liked, and like from the beginning, I definitely felt, because I knew that you were building this crazy war story that was happening, and then and I was, as you were like telling us, like sort of giving us the broader strokes of this world, I'm so proud that we've put together a group of people. Exactly. Good boy. That we're going to avoid that at all costs and be like, nope, we're going to the other side of the continent.
Yeah.
Oh,
I know, Henry.
Somebody's outside dragging something. He don't like that.
no.
It's Max's car getting repoed. We should really pay him, Marisha. Remind me next week to ask somebody about that. Continue, Matthew, please. Apologize for my dog and the repo man.
You should. No, I can't say it's not. It's in some ways it's not as far along as I thought, and in some ways it's way further than I thought it would be. You know, their involvement in the Empire has been a little less than I was expecting.
Oh, interesting.
But the paths that they're taking are rocketing in directions I also wasn't anticipating.
Because if it had been Vox Machina, we would have been in the middle of that shit so fast.
Oh yeah.
And I love that these guys, I love that this is kind of very much the like, oh no, we are not those people, and we do not want anything to do with this.
Yeah.
This is political bullshit.
Which is why I'm very interested to see
what happens when we're forced.
Well, here's the thing.
War sounds exhausting.
Well, it also has a tendency to
Kill people?
to expand and,
yeah.
draw people into it, whether they
that's
be
what
affected by it or not.
Yes, that's what I've been waiting for, because I think there's a point where you can no longer avoid the war,
course.
even if you're actively trying to, because
And that's
Of course.
that's kind of what we're starting to hit elements of that.
Yeah.
And it's still their choice how they want to get involved, and the path they're taking is a very interesting one, and I'm excited to see where it leads us. I don't know. What I've said it before. My most exciting moments in running role-playing games is when the players surprise me and I have no idea where it's going, and so I have to kind of play very reactionary and reflexively and trying to prep in front where I think things may possibly make sense to go.
Yeah.
But yeah. And like I said before, there are things happening on the outskirts that they're now not going to necessarily encounter, and those will have waves and ripples as well.
Yeah.
I'm stoked. I'm
I
excited.
just want to get that sword made, man. That's all I want to do is fix that sword. This is my goal now.
Hey man, you just got to find the right kind of people. You have a little bit of guidance.
Sword ends up being super lame.
I'm expecting this to be a singing sword. Like literally, we build it and it's just like a +1 sword that never stops singing.
Remember like the burning bush? And,
you belong to my heart. Oh God!
like,
And it's cursed. You can never put it down.
I'm in. I'm so
She'll be
in.
coming around the mountain when she comes.
She'll be coming around the mountain when she comes. She'll be coming around the mountain.
So stupid.
I hope so. I hope so.
So stupid.
It'd be awful.
You do have a little bit of information
have
on
to
the
go
sword,
say
though,
hi?
don't you?
We do. We know we have to go north.
Yeah, Uthadurn.
Uthadurn. Yeah.
That's so funny.
I felt like
Too
it.
far from your home.
That's fair. I know. I was like, well, I could have just. Well, I had to buy it all the way. I am
Yeah.
kind of going back. I'm aware.
Yeah.
Whenever we get back to, your home turf at some point down the road.
Poor chunk of backstory I gave you so fucking late, and I'm so sorry for it.
Don't look at me, man. You
Yeah.
guys are deciding the path to take.
I know.
I can't force it. I can't wedge everyone's backstory if you're all going, oh, this is where our stories lie?
Well,
We're going to go this way.
Yeah, yeah,
I tried to give you some room to yeah.
You did, and
That
it's
was
been
all
great.
like that's
Thank you.
room to play.
No, it'll be there
Yeah.
whenever.
Whenever. I'm in no rush. I'm enjoying just corralling all the kids.
Oh, yeah. Well, Caduceus has brought such a unique and, in hindsight, absolutely necessary energy to this
Yeah.
group.
Like he did a grog, and we needed
Yeah.
a pike, and he is grog and pike. in
Grog and
one.
Pike, that's a good way of putting it. And I think it was the conversation that Caduceus and Bo had on the ship heading back. I think it was they both realized that they might be at this time the parents.
Yeah, Bo is also Caduceus' favorite at the moment, which is a whole.
Interesting.
That's a great dynamic.
Yeah.
The two of you have a phenomenal dynamic.
I really like
Y'all can't not be best friends in a show.
I guess that does. Yeah.
That's fair.
That's fair.
Even Bo and Molly, God rest his soul, they were like heading that way.
Ford he considers to be an angsty teen. That is definitely like.
You're not wrong. I
Yeah.
kind of consider him that too.
Yeah, no, he's like, you just got to get your shit together and knock all this off.
More about what Caduceus thinks of every person in the party. I need it right now.
Oh God. He. Oh wow. What am I gonna get in trouble for? Yeah. No, he.
You don't have to answer that.
No, I don't have to answer that
What are
question.
you
There's
going
a
to get in
lot.
trouble for?
Oh, I don't know. I'm trying to think of any particular. He definitely kind of thinks Caleb is occasionally up his own butt a bit.
You think?
Yeah. And he hasn't figured out the Jester as an adult yet.
Oh, interesting.
He doesn't regard her as an adult. I mean, which is like he kind of like his whole thing with her is very childish and playful, and has not really.
You are squishing her, by the way.
I know she's squishing right there. He hasn't figured out that she's probably got. I mean, he's aware that there's other stuff going on, but he hasn't really gone looking for it yet. So he's like, oh, she's happy and fine. Good, thank God somebody is. And obviously that's not true, and he should know better, but he hasn't gone looking for it.
He has bigger fish to fry at the moment.
I mean, the angsty boys are very angsty, and they currently have one emo girl to deal with as well.
There was a
Angsty
great.
boys.
I'm sorry, I'm totally derailing this.
No.
There was a great meme that I saw that said something about like the Mighty Nine have one brain cell between all of them, and it really just transfers between like Bo and Not the whole time.
Right.
He's also disappointed in Not for the amount of drinking, but he would never say that out loud. Although the notion that he can make that go away with a moment's notice is definitely way more power than he should have.
Whoa.
So, see, I think you've had enough. Oh, that's dark. But yeah.
That was amazing because we did go off the rails, but you guys answered like 4 questions in that whole thing. So it's perfect. It's actually
what you
like
want.
fucking perfect. Taliesin.
Yeah.
Jesse. That's it. Just Jesse.
Hi, Jesse.
Hey,
Hi,
Jesse.
Jesse.
Caduceus often seems very curious of things that he has never encountered, preferring to talk to creatures even when they might be dangerous. Is it because he was surrounded by things people are needlessly freaked out by, graves, the dead, that he assumes most things aren't as scary as people think?
Things are as scary as people think. I think that he understands that dangerous things have wisdom, and that there is a great amount of information to be gleaned from approaching dangerous things as an equal. Wow, that just came out of me. Never mind.
Hey, buddy.
What's in this? Fuck.
That's the Taliesin I grew up with.
Not as strong as it could be. Not as strong as it could be.
Stuff is going to be kicking in about 10 minutes.
There
Here we
you
go.
Fucking lightweights.
Yeah, no, he is aware that there is great wisdom that comes from dangerous things, and that that approach can glean you an awful lot before you actually have to go and have a physical encounter. There's sometimes just walking up to something and asking is very useful.
That's true. It's a different approach. Not a lot of that in D&D sometimes. There's a lot of ask questions
you
later.
can keep from being sometimes you can keep from being arrested in front of a coffee shop just by really casually offering the officer a hot pocket. And like, would you like a hot pocket? And they don't know how to respond to that, so they're like, I'm giving you a warning, and they walk away. And like, apparently the hot pocket worked.
I miss Hot Pockets so much.
No.
I would eat them if they weren't 45% fiberglass.
Depends on the flavor.
I just eat fiberglass now. Matt,
Yes.
Carolina Chalupska wants to know.
Chalupska.
It's almost chalupa, and I like it. The encounters in this episode were resolved in 3 different ways, mostly without fighting. How do you get players to understand not every encounter has to be a bloody fight to the death? I love this question.
It's a great question. It takes a while sometimes, depending on the group. Some people like the idea of victory in combat is a big part of the game, and so it comes with some time of trust. Sometimes you have to teach lessons by giving them battles that they cannot win, and letting them know when it starts to turn. To those who would be in the know, characters that may pick up on the clues, perhaps your best option is to flee.
Yes.
It's a process of teaching with your players, and even sometimes if they're not picking up on the cues, talking to them between sessions and be like, not all encounters can be resolved this way, and in some cases there are benefits and rewards that can be gleaned from bypassing an encounter in a non-violent way. And it just comes with teaching them.
Rewarding a player for solving something in an unusual way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A lot of people a lot of that also comes from the older editions of D&D, in which experience points were only quantified by the power of the creatures you had killed, or the amount of gold you had gotten.
Yeah.
And those were just the numbers there, and so it taught in an early stage of the game's existence this idea that if you do not kill monsters, you do not get more powerful.
Grind.
Yeah, so as a dungeon master, it's a learning experience for your players, and you have to teach them, you have to guide them, sometimes through actual in-game lessons, and sometimes through talking to them on the outside of the game if you feel like it's not quite sinking in. And when one of them does get that little spark and manage to show some interest, try and let it, even if it's a ridiculous spark, even if it's, oh man, that's a real tough sell to make that work, but I'll adjust this NPC to be receptive to what they're talking about, just because I want them to have an experience where they can engage in a nonviolent manner and defeat this, or allow them to escape this danger without just fighting them head on. And then at the end of that, give them a reward of some kind. Give them a path they weren't expecting to take that leads into a treasure hoard.
A fancy hat.
A fancy hat works great. Maybe the scenario leads them with an ally who was originally an enemy, who now they can come to for help, forging new equipment.
Right,
Who knows?
Fancy chaps.
Yeah. So just
It's all about chaps today.
It has been a chappy day. Yeah.
Very chappy.
and me and Delson both own pairs of chaps we've discovered today.
We were having that conversation earlier today.
The costume parties we've been to.
Jesus.
No, we can't talk about those.
No.
Questions.
Taliesin,
Yeah.
our last question of the night is from Pale New Moon. This is the one I got fucking shamed for a month ago. Caduceus' staff is so interesting. Where did he get it? And is there anything you can tell us about it without spoiling too much?
Yes. My personal inspiration from it was very Dark Crystal. I was in the 48 hours I had to come up with shit.
Buddy.
I definitely was like, I like Henson. I'm gonna look at some Brian Froud art. That'll make me feel better. It did. The crystals come. The crystal that he's holding actually comes from the land itself that he lives on. It's actually was in the earth. He dug it up and broke it and found wood, and actually he made the staff kind of from him by himself. I think his siblings probably helped a bit.
Wow.
Because since they have some skills that he does not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of cultivated the air plants that live on it and the creatures that live inside of it until it was a sustainable, self-contained ecosystem.
It's his own miniature ecosystem.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's great.
Oh, man.
It's a little piece of home he carries with him.
You were saying that whenever I have a very important question. You were
Yeah.
saying that whenever the little beetles or whatever they were, the little bees that were attacking the lava that was in the shield guys, that the shield guy was holding, are they okay? Did all of the beetles come back?
have very short lifespans, so there are the whole swarm never leaves. So it takes them a little while to run through a cycle to build up, but they are leaving constantly and going and doing stuff and dying and so no, they're all dead. but
A majority of them.
but there are plenty of them that didn't leave the stick that are currently
So your stick is still
reproducing.
okay?
The stick's fine.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
good.
fine.
Yeah, it'll be full in no time.
Okay, good.
Full of beetles.
Full of beetles, worms, beetles, night crawlers, spiders.
Hey, Taliesin,
Yeah.
how many more questions about your stick are you willing to answer? That's all the time we have for tonight, folks. Stick around for Talks Machina After Dog on projectalpha.com. I would like to thank Matt and Taliesin for joining me tonight. Reminder, there is no Critical Role this week, but we'll be back the following week on Thursday, February 14th for episode 51. Is that backwards for the folks at home? 51?
No,
You were
Never mind.
Okay.
Don't forget to love each other, and don't worry, it's almost Thursday. Stay turned, Steve, my friends. Are we back? Zach? Yeah. You didn't say one. You know, he says 5, 4, 3, 2. If there's no one, I assume the countdown has stopped and we're not back on. But I'm learning now that's not the case.
That explains so much about your unique style.
Is this an old school showbiz thing?
What, I have head scratched from a bear?
Well, not the head scratch from a bear.
The foot kiss?
The foot kiss.
Feet are kissing.
Your feet are kissing. Last week, Sam and Liam. Was last week Sam and Liam, Max?
Yeah.
Last week feels like a month ago. Last week, Sam and Liam were doing a lot of foot action.
That's weird.
We have to.
It's not weird. It's Sam and Liam.
No, I mean, like, there is no upping. I mean, like, that's the Sam and Liam thing.
Yeah.
I'm very relaxed right now. How do you guys feel? I took a nap during the quick break.
There's something in this Coke that's really chilling me out.
I glanced at Twitter to see the absolute mountain of rage coming at us for ruining this
Thank
liquor.
you, critters.
We had no idea.
Thank you, critters.
No idea.
I told Max when I saw him he lifted the Coke can, and I said, "What the fuck are you doing?" And he goes, "They told me to do it, dude." I said, "They don't know what they're talking about, though. Take it in like this." And he started weeping, as he does, and he's like, "Stop yelling at me, man. I didn't mean it."
I'll make it up to you next week. I'll bring in, there's a bottle of scotch that I'm really excited about that actually comes from this group, this amazing distillery in Kentucky that makes the best scotch. I'm entirely fucking with you right now. That's obviously a Kent.
You know what's funny? Imagine this critter saved up for a year to send us
no, okay.
a 21-year-old, and then you guys were like, "No way!" And you put it in a bowl, and then you put the bowl on the ground, and you just peed into it. That's.
I'm so sorry.
I have no other defense mechanism than to make jokes. That's all I've got left.
We humbly prostrate ourselves before you.
We are drinking what's currently in these cups in penance,
Yeah.
Yes.
with the knowledge that we will have to have proper.
Yes.
After this, I will get both of you very drunk, and you'll
Yeah.
forget all about this.
I in no way have shit to do tomorrow morning. No.
The Greater C, Taliesin, asked the question we've all wanted to know for years. How did you get started with eyeliner?
I mean, I experimented in high school, I suppose. Who didn't?
Are we still talking about eyeliner?
Oh, eyeliner.
See, Taliesin and I have a thing. It's a layup. I just know that he's right there with me.
You pitch so well. I mean, like
Softball.
it's
You
just.
catch
Oh
so
man,
well.
yeah, it's just right in the glove, right in my open.
How
ready,
did you get
expectant hand.
started with eyeliner? Was the question. So high school?
High school vampire LARPing, and then before then, then eventually when I started going to goth clubs a little early because I had a fur cardu.
Statute of limitations.
Statute of
You're
limitations.
okay.
That's everybody involved is dead now, pretty much anyway.
Thanks to
or
you.
living in
Thanks to you, Taliesin.
I was going to say
cover your tracks.
the bouncer who would be in trouble lives in Sacramento now, so no one has to know.
Fuck Sacramento. That's where
know,
Max
he's a
is
good
from.
guy, but
I
what
love
the fuck?
Sacramento. I'm just kidding. That's where Max is from. I just want to get a reaction out of him.
Yeah, no, I mean like this was falling in with the goth kids. You have to learn how to do your makeup. I used to do the full pasty white like creepy mime makeup, and then would do you do the eyeliner on the feet, you draw stuff, and then you'd have to do the crazy death, the high cost of living eyes, the whole deal. Yeah, and it was just part of the fun of going out dancing was you had to do the whole get all done up.
I think I first applied eyeliner as part of a cosplay.
Yeah, well you were
And then and then put it on for
were
the
deep.
first time outside of costume, clubbing with you.
Oh,
Thank you. Because we also had the Goth Industrial Karaoke back in the day too.
Yeah.
So
Where did they do
sometimes-
that?
sometimes
And we
you
used to,
get-
like you introduced me to the whole Los Angeles goth club
That's
scene,
fair,
and so
yeah.
like
Fuck.
ruin,
Oh,
perversion.
God, good times.
Yeah.
Where did they do the goth karaoke at?
It was actually Goth Karaoke. It was called Ground Control.
Yeah, it was at the Jewel.
It was Jules Catch One, which is it's a really fascinating place if you ever.
There's a documentary about it, actually.
Yeah, it was the first and possibly only gay club in Los Angeles for black men and women, women of color, men of color in Los Angeles in the 1970s, and the Jules Catch One was was the place if you were a gay person of color to go and party hard for decades. And as that culture kind of became less insulated and moved around, they eventually let in all the industrial kids for a couple nights a week to keep the lights on.
It's a great place, great venue.
It's beautiful.
Wow.
This is the great history. And
I
the
know.
owner is awesome.
She's a peach. Jules a peach. So.
This one's hilarious. I'm interested in your answers from Last Jabberwocky. Dumbest way you've managed to injure yourself.
Oh yeah, I got mine.
You
Tell
do
me.
yours while I think about mine.
I was directing and editing a web series a decade ago called There Will Be Brawl.
Legendary. There will be.
And
was the
although most of the episodes are now taken offline with Machinima's closing,
Oh fuck! Really?
yeah, I'm gonna have to re-upload them.
Oh
I
Jesus!
still have the original files. So.
Wow.
Thousands of hours of Chris Lockey's entire career.
Yeah, just
gone.
put behind a wall. It sucks.
Yeah. Him and Chris Perkins were mourning that the other day because he's interviewed Chris Perkins like 5 times.
We have
and
we have
those
a
are-
huge bunch of friends who just
Yeah.
lost a decade of their work.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
So anyway, sorry to bring that up.
Yeah, no. Fuck.
But when I was editing that series for the final episode, we had a deadline to meet, and we really went too large with it. Like, we had too much content and too much we were trying to achieve within a very short time, and I was the only real sole editor for most of it.
You were not okay.
I know, and I didn't sleep for like 72 hours straight. I was just editing my machine, and I threw my back out horribly sitting too long, which I didn't know was a thing you could do, and it's very possible. And I just sat there, editing my computer, hallucinating my way through Adobe Premiere before all of a sudden, and like fell to the ground screaming, and my girlfriend at the time was like, "What's going on?" I'm like, "I don't know."
On the floor.
Yeah.
Wow.
She sent us a picture.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a really dumb way to injure yourself.
Yeah, it was really bad, and people would ask me like what happened? I'm like hobbling through like my agency I just joined, and like what happened? I'd be like, I was camping with my friends, and they warned us that there were animals in the area, so like we had put our tents out there, but we were like, we'd be fine, we'd keep the food away. But then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, we woke up and there was this giant bear that was rummaging through, and they're like, really? I'm like, no, I was editing too long. I was sitting. And
They're like, no
Himself
way.
into a
throwing
little
my back
curled mass. You looked very unhappy.
it was bad.
It was bad.
I learned a lot of terrible lessons in that project.
Yeah, I know.
How about you?
The worst thing I could think of, and the dumbest thing was doing again a student film I did when I was a young person, and I will not mention because since I still know these people, because I was asked to do a stunt for a student film as a teenager, which is a great idea. Which is where normally in a film there's a whole series of conversations that happen about what is safe and unsafe, especially when the stunt is holding somebody up to a train. Moving train to threaten them. And I was like, so we did this by holding somebody up to a moving train. At the time, I had these, I'm so sorry, this is going to make everybody at home squirm, and I'm so sorry. I had these beautiful long nails. I was in like peak goth at the time, and I had these I'd grown long, sharp, awful, cutty nails that were great. And in picking up my poor friend and holding him up against the train, I broke off all 10 of my nails doing that into bloody stumps, and it was the most awful feeling. And I did not drop him into the train. I didn't. And he is still alive, and I think that he is grateful for that, because we did a lot, like we almost died like 4 times on that film. I was so tired at one point, we were driving down PCH coming home from like San Luis Obispo, and I was so tired, I hallucinated a wall in the middle of PCH So it was like 2 a.m. We're driving back, and
Slammed
my
on your
poor friend
brakes.
driving, who is definitely has got some anxiety issues, and he just hears me go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa!" And he screams, "Whoa!" and hits the brake. We're the only, and like we come to a screeching halt, and I watch us like go through the phantom wall, and I'm just.
Wow. Holy shit. You were tripping balls.
I was tripping
dude.
ball. We had not. I mean, like we've been on a film shoot for a week. We were like fucking done. We were fried.
Low budget film shoots can really
Oh, yeah.
be bad.
Dangerous. Dangerous, yeah.
That's why unions are good.
I still need a copy of that movie. Actually, I think I might have one.
I need to see your nails
need to see this, too.
get filed
yeah,
off by a moving train.
Jeez.
It's. I don't even remember if it. Like, yeah, I got to find that scene again and be like,
Still
yeah,
not
that
the-
hurt. Might have hit the cutting room floor for all I know.
Still not the cheapest manicure you've ever had. Marisha, that joke was for her and she laughed. That's my fucking audience right
There for
there.
my last nails. Come on, they were beautiful.
Okay, I lit myself on fire with a Molotov cocktail. It was the first one that I did one of these
Oh,
where
no,
I
you're just gonna hit your head.
I went back too far and it dipped down onto my shirt. I got burned, but not really bad. There's no
I am
scar there or anything. But
So appreciative that our generation is the last generation to grow up without cell phone videos, because
Did the man get stuck to? Did you stick it to him?
it was not a man, it was a porta potty. We used to go. We used to.
You are the definition of a rascal.
We used to burn down porta potties. There's a number of because porta potties are very okay. Maybe they're not anymore. They used to be very easy to burn down.
Sure.
And I grew up in a farming community,
Oh, yeah.
and there was a lot of haystacks around. You can put a haystack on the toilet seat of a porta potty and light it on fire.
I'm okay with this.
And the best part is, 4 hours later, it will have burned to the ground. So you come back the next day, and there's just the
hobos roasting
frame.
marshmallows still.
There's just the frame on the bottom with a bunch of
Oh, that's great.
the blob.
Watch it burn.
We would also make dry ice bombs. You know about dry
Yes,
ice
I
bombs?
love dry
With the
ice
2
bombs.
liter. So we'd make dry ice bombs and throw those in the toilet and see what happened.
Not that we used to have a big glass water jug, like the old-fashioned glass water jug,
Yeah,
and we
yeah.
put like fuel at the bottom, and we'd shake it up and make fumes, and then drop a match in, and then cover
Oh,
it and
yes.
watch
Yep.
the fumes light up. It was like because that's safe.
we were stupid. Stupid kids.
I should have been killed 5
So
times.
many times.
Why is there green flames now? Or green, what is that?
the porta potty and
Magnesium.
Is that the
Maybe?
porta potty on
Sulfur?
fire, Zach? This is cool, man.
It's magnesium green flame or blue flame. I always forget.
We've got serious money.
the budget, as you can see.
Oh boy.
Video toaster available.
Okay, one time, I don't know if I told this story, but they were doing a broadcast downtown in my hometown on the 4th of July, and we tied like 10 of smoke bombs together, and we threw it at the news people doing the broadcast. I told that story already.
No.
You Batman?
We went downtown and so we tied all them together, and I had like a '87 Bronco at the time. So my friend just opened up the back, and he chucks the smoke bomb, and like a few of them went off, but a clunk of them made it over right. It literally, he had the most perfect aim. It literally landed right behind the person doing the thing, right on camera, and then just. So the best part of the story is, I am 22, 23. I'm not even like a teenager.
have
I
no
went home to
excuse.
visit my folks, and then like there's nothing to do, so we went dicked around. I get home, and my mom goes, "You're not going to believe this. I'm watching the news, and some punk kids threw fireworks at the people." And I'm like, and she goes, "All I was thinking is, sounds like something Brian would have done 10 years ago." And I'm like, "Yeah, thank God those days are over." I'm like hiding my smoky fingers in my pockets.
Damn.
Yeah.
Man.
I think it was 10 minutes before my oldest sister was like, "Was that you guys? Was that you and Dustin?" I'm like, "Yeah."
My friend Ian.
This anonymity, man.
Yeah, I know.
Oh.
My friend Ian and me, I remember one time we like, those little snaps you get at like the, we used to be able to get them at the,
Yeah.
at
The
the
little
ice cream
snappies.
trucks and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I don't know if you get them anymore. We were like, okay, if they make that noise when they're that big.
Oh no.
And so we dropped like 40 bucks at this
shit.
ice cream truck and just bought it all out. And we must look like a drug den. We're just sitting there in his dining room of his little apartment, and we have paper towels open, and we're just emptying them one by one in this pile, and we get this pile of those tiny little explosive stones there, and we just wad it up and twist it and make essentially a little bomb. We're like, oh, this would be fun. So we go to the parking lot at night outside of the Ralphs, and we just, I didn't throw it. My friend Ian is much stronger than me.
This has got to be like thousands. Where is this? Is this like?
This was at Agora.
Okay, Agora. That's fair.
This was off of.
This is very Agora.
This is in Agora Hills, off of Canaan Road, in the parking lot outside of the Ralphs. And it was like maybe 11 p.m. or something like that, and we're just like, all right. We throw it once, and it kind of lands, goes, nothing. We're like, oh, it's not going to work. And give it to Ian to try, because he's stronger than me. He goes, lobs it up. It was the loudest gunshot type flash and explosion. We both kind of, our ears rang for a second, and we just ran. And sure enough, we start hearing like the sirens in the distance catching up, and
you're like, oops.
That's as bad as I really got. I didn't go lighting porta potties on fire with Molotov cocktails.
Speaking of things you can't do anymore, my 8th grade teacher, Mr. Allen, would throw those at us in class if we were not talking or not paying attention, or he'd try to hit it on the desk to wake us up.
I think that's kind of great.
You can't do that anymore.
No, you cannot.
Nope. All it takes is one parent, just making a phone call, and Mr. Allen, he goes upstate, and somebody
to play
lets
with all the
his
other professors.
family know.
I can't mention any of my currently living teachers because I've had too many people come up who currently have them still, and have been like, oh yeah, like I don't want any shit getting back to them. Like,
Sadly, he passed a few years ago, and I went back for his funeral, and there was almost 1,000 people there.
Damn,
that's incredible.
And that's when you know, like, you've fucking done something great.
Yeah, you've changed some lives.
1,000 people show up. Yeah. Taliesin, of your hundreds of funerals that you've had, what was the largest attendance?
1874, I had 25 more deaths than Abraham Lincoln.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, did all right.
Dang.
I actually, like, weirdly, no, I mean, like, I only say that just because Emperor Norton came up today, so I was having that conversation. Do you know who Emperor Norton is, right?
Shit.
You know who Emperor Norton is.
Yes.
Yes, you do, Danny, because you are a cultured human being.
I don't know. Tell me at once.
Emperor Norton was a guy who lived in San Francisco.
Self-imposed.
Had a really bad day, went crazy, and declared himself Emperor of the United States, Protector of Mexico.
This guy sounds fucking awesome.
He was. Yeah. People went with it, and like everyone was like, okay, Your Majesty, what do you need? And he's like, I need a place to live. I'm going to need to eat wherever I want, and I've also got some feelings about bridges, and you're going to publish them on the paper. And they're like, okay, and.
This guy's amazing.
Oh yeah, no, he had a whole outfit. He was this crazy hobo, and he had an outfit, and he would make his own homemade money that he would sell for real money and live that way. And he was good friends with Mark Twain. And
wow.
And
holy shit.
There's installations in San Francisco, kind of like commemorating his existence.
That's amazing.
Emperor Norton, and he had more people at his funeral than Abraham Lincoln.
Whoa.
Even though they were alive at the same time.
So what you're saying?
I was Emperor Norton, yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say that was a great monologue. I was gonna say one day if you ever decide that you're just gonna do that, we're all with you.
I'm madly in love with Emperor Norton, and I've been looking for weird ephemera from him for years. And like there's like wonderful. It probably didn't happen. But there's a story that he stopped the Chinatown riot. There was a lynch mob heading up to Chinatown in San Francisco back in the 1860s. And he apparently went out and began praying in the middle of the street, and everyone was just like, whoa, shit. And so they all just sort of joined him and then eventually left, as opposed to going up to burn Chinatown to the ground.
What?
Jeez. Yeah, there's a lot of, and
that's
some of
power.
There's a lot of, he's got a lot of crazy stories about him. Interesting cat.
That's cool. Edward Norton, I'll look him up.
Edward Norton, yeah, he did all right.
That's all the time we have for tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see you in 2 weeks for Talks Machina episode 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can you believe it?
I know.
I swear we thought we would have gotten rid of you by now.
Yeah. We have to.
Couple of close calls.
Yeah, we have to try some new technology.
Molotov cocktail.
Yeah.
Seems to be his weakness.
Yeah, that's my kryptonite.
We don't throw it at him. We just hand it to him.
Yeah, just say, throw this into a porta potty.
Welcome to Red Fair, motherfucker.
Welcome to Red Fair. Maybe when it burns down, we'll find Laura's knife.
Oh, she's gonna kill us.
Yeah,
Laura dropped her knife in the porta potty at Ren Fair. I think we told that story.
She just bought it.
She just bought it 5 minutes before.
She was not
She was
doing
not
okay.
happy.
No.
Nope.
Poor thing. Poor thing.
Also, Travis bought a rare coin that costs more than Matt's car. Good night, everyone. We love you.
Those are my bros, man.
So tell me more about Edward Norton.